This is Alpakka, a 3D printed gamepad controller based on an open source design by Input Labs. It's customizable, wireless, and has some unique features that other controllers don't have. Let me show you how I build it and how you can get all the components needed to build your own. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to show you this gamepad controller that I've recently built. It's 3D printed and based on an open source design by Input Labs. In this video I'll show you how it works, what unique features it has, how to get components to build it, and also how does it compare to a normal Xbox controller. But let's start with the company behind it. Input Labs is a small company established in Finland, founded in 2022 by two friends who are both engineers and gamers. As it states on their website, they embrace backward compatibility, open source, right to repair, and privacy. And they share their designs online for free for anyone to use. Alpakka is the first reference design that they released, but they are working on another one called Capybara, which is gonna be a single handheld device. One of the unique and cool features of this controller are gyros that the device utilizes to mimic mouse-like behavior. This makes this controller super useful in any types of shooters. And these gyros in fact was one of the reasons why I wanted to build this device, to see how actually it works. They advertise that it feels the same as using the mouse, if not better. So we're gonna put it to the test, but first let me show you what components you need to build this. The full assembly manual and list of components you can find on their website, and this is exactly where I started this project. The design consists of a couple key components. The 3D printed parts that you can just download and 3D print on your own, in any material you like, in any color you like. Two PCB designs, one for the internal main board of the controller and one for a module called Marmota that is used for wireless communication. Some screws to assemble the components together, and a firmware that you can download from the Input Labs website. I started 3D printing by downloading all the STL files. Each of the parts come in a separate file, so I just grouped them all together in one 3MF project file, so it would be easier to print them in bulk. Then I printed them with PLA in two different colors. So when it comes to 3D printing, most of the components are fairly easy to print, but there is one component that needs a special filament. In order to have the gyros triggered by touch, you'll need a conductive PLA filament. Input Lab suggests to buy the Protoplasta conductive filament, but I found this one and it still works fine. For the PCB parts, you have a few options. You can get them from Input Labs as they offer them on their website. They can either be fully assembled with all the components in it, or just the SMD assembled and the bigger components you can solder on your own. Or you can order them from a company that manufactures PCBs based on the design files. One of the companies that you can do it with is PCBway. And I was lucky enough that they reached out to me and offered to help me with this project. And they sent me two of these fully assembled PCBs. Let me show you how you can order your parts on their website. First thing to do is to download the ready-to-order files from Input Labs GitLab repository. Then on pcbway.com, click on Get Instant Quote and upload the zip package with Gerber files. Here you can change the color of the PCBs or leave it as a default green. On the bottom, check in the assembly service, select both sides for the Alpakka mainboard or only top side for the Marmota module, and put in the quantity of PCBs you want to order. Select the shipping details and add order to cart. Last thing to do is to upload the BOM and CPL files and wait for the quote to be processed. PCBway also offers other services like 3D printing or CNC machining, and they often have many good deals available. The link to their website is in the description, and thanks PCBway for sponsoring this project. You can also order the Marmota modules from them, but you have to remember that you always need at least two, because in order to have the wireless connection, one works as a transceiver and one as a receiver. If you want the controller to be wireless, you will also need a battery. I got the same battery that they suggested, but from a different supplier that they had on their list. Still, it's the same battery and I got it from Europe, so it was fairly cheap and quick to arrive. Once I had all the components, it was time to build the controller. I started with cleaning up the 3D printed parts. Following the assembly manual, I took the L2 and L4 triggers and secured them with M screws with nuts. Then I took the main PCB and the Marmota module and connected them together. In this wireless version of the controller, the Marmota module just clicks into the mainboard. In the previous wired version of the controller, you had to solder in the module. I placed the assembled PCB into the case, fit in the thumbstick cap, and assembled the scroll wheel. Next step was to fit and assemble anchors that are holding both sides of the case together, but I had some issues with them. These anchors are supposed to be tightly pushed into the part of the case, but it didn't work for me, as when I assembled both pieces of the case together, they jump out of the sockets and there was a gap visible. So I ended up gluing them into the sockets, and that fixed the problem. Next, I pushed in the conductive hexagon and placed all of the buttons in the front part of the case. Now it was time for the sandwich maneuver to put both case pieces together and assemble everything with screws. The last step was to connect the battery and fit it into the case. It was going in quite tightly, so I had to watch out when closing the latch not to pinch it. Once the controller was built, I took the other Marmota module and slid it into the case to create a dongle for the wireless connection. Then I connected both the controller and the dongle to my PC to upload the firmware. There's a different firmware for the controller and different for the dongle, but the installation was super easy. I just followed the upload manual, which told me which file to copy where. After that, the controller was detected by my PC and the buttons were working, but for some reason I couldn't trigger the gyros to work. It took me quite some time to figure out what was the reason. I even disassembled the controller to see if it's not something with the main board, but in the end the reason was that I was using the wrong profile for the buttons. Input Labs created a web app that you can use to communicate with the controller. You can use it to recalibrate the gyros, for debugging, and also for changing the profiles and addressing each of the individual buttons. The reason the gyros weren't working for me was that I was set to a profile where they were disconnected. Once I set the profile to the correct one, the gyros were working fine. And I could control the mouse on my PC with the controller. There was one thing though that I still had to adjust. When I used the controller wired, there was no issue with turning on and off the gyros by touch, but when I used it wireless, they kind of didn't work. Thanks to the Alpakka community on Discord, I've learned that you have to change the touch sensitivity in the app. Once I did that, the gyros were working fine. I have tested the controller only in a few games, but I like how the functionality of the gyros work in shooters, for example. It takes some time to get used to controlling the mouse movements, but after a while it's really fun to play with. In some games the placement of the conductive hexagon can be a problem, because while you try to press a button you trigger by accident the gyros. But for those games, I guess you can set up the gyros to be triggered by a button instead of by the touch. Other than that, I really like the controller, but I need to test it in more games. So how does it compare to an Xbox controller? So for one thing, Alpakka is lighter. It's around 80 grams of difference. The shape is more PlayStation-like. I don't know which one I prefer more. Xbox was always the only controller that I've used. This one has quite few of rough edges that you can really feel when playing. Maybe this can be resolved by modifying the design. Especially this part here really sticks into your palms. I do like the layout of buttons on Alpakka and how there is a bit more of them than on the Xbox controller, but what I don't like is how shallow the triggers are. Compared to the Xbox controller, they are also really stiff. But maybe this can be adjusted with some kind of mod. Overall, the feel of Xbox controller is more smooth, but I really don't mind this one either. This one doesn't have that high-end feel, and it also makes noise when you shake it. But in the end, it is a 3D printed device, so what can you expect? But other than that, I really like the device. I like how customizable it is. You can address any button the way you like. You can make it any color you like, you can even change the shape. There's a big community behind it and there's a lot of mods that you can already use to modify the controller as you like. Now this is it for this video, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If there are any other projects that you would suggest I should build, please share them in the comments. That's it from me for now, thanks for watching and see you next time.